flavorful carrot cake. Carrot is one of those things that you can get here all year round, so it's quite easy for you to throw this recipe together and make that fantastic cake that would have you going back for seconds and thirds. So I've got with me to help us today, Koki and Duda. Say hello. Hello. Okay, so it's basically, I'm doing a big batch today because my husband just loves carrot cake. So if you're doing a smaller batch, you can always reduce the recipe measurements. But if you're doing a bigger batch, this will also help in making you know how to handle bigger batter and putting it together. So let's get started right away. I've got 560 grams of butter here, which I'm just going to put in the bowl very quickly. Spatula. Okay, so I'm just going to whisk this for about a minute just to get the butter softened. If you can't find butter, you can use margarine as well. It's absolutely fine. So we have 200 grams of brown sugar and 360 grams of white sugar. So I'm just going to put in the brown sugar first. I'm using brown sugar because again it gives it that really intense flavor, apart from the fact that it also makes it just a hint of brown. Okay, so brown sugar's gone in. Now we're going to follow up with white sugar. As I said, it's 360. Again, this is going to get whisked. Right, sugar and butter has been thoroughly incorporated. I did that for about 3 to 4 minutes. Okay, so next step is the eggs. Now I've got 7 eggs here. As I said, I'm doing a pretty big batch today. And I'm just going to put them in about 3 or 4 batches. And I know I definitely wouldn't be able to put one at a time. So first batch going in now. Okay, second batch. Put 2 in there. Okay. So whatever you decide to use, I've just got some batter in there. Whatever you decide to use, if it's your stand mixer or your hand mixer, it's perfectly fine. I'm using my stand mixer today because, as I said, it's a pretty big batch. But whatever method is okay as long as you have your measurements right. You're good to go. So last batch of the eggs. Voila. Full speed ahead. I don't know if you saw my previous videos, it's quite difficult to get the extracts. So I've got obviously the essence today. So I'm gonna, the flavor is not as intense as your extracts, but we just have to make do with what we have. I'm gonna put on 2 tablespoons of that. And mix it in. Right, so we've got our dry ingredients here. I've got 560 grams of flour, and to that I'm going to add in our baking powder. We're going to use a bit of baking soda as well.
No.
So we've got 4 teaspoons of...
Teaspoons.
Yeah. So you want to count with me?
Yes.
Okay, so let's count together.
1. 2.
Yeah.
Count. 3.
Okay. What's the last one, Duda? 4. There we go. Good job. Good job. Okay. So we'll mix that in. Go on, mix. Don't make a mess.
No, what's in it?
Okay, one at a time. And then we've got 1.5 teaspoons of baking soda. It's a bit clumpy, so I'm just gonna make sure I get rid of the clumps. So that's 1 teaspoon and a half going in as well. Okay. Right, we've got our agents in. Now, cinnamon and nutmeg are the absolute spice of carrot cake. So I've got some cinnamon here. This is 4 teaspoons of cinnamon. Just going to put that in. And I've got 2 teaspoons of nutmeg. Okay. Right. And then we have 1/2 teaspoon of salt in my tea cup. Okay. So mix. Let him mix. Mix. Let's do it together. Yeah, let's go. Let's mix together. 1, 2, go. Mix, mix, mix. you need to make sure all the ingredients in here are thoroughly mixed together. Okay, so we're done. Right, let's put that there. Okay, so I'm going to put this in batches of maybe 3 to 4. Again, you don't put all of your flour in at the same time because it will get a bit clumpy and you have molds and little bubbles of flour in your batter. So we're just going to do it little by little, as I said, 3 or 4 batches until we have it all thoroughly incorporated. Right, I have 3 batches already, so this is the last one going in. When you start mixing, you need to mix slow so that way you don't have a flour volcano, as we call it. Okay, so last batch, in it goes. Right, so we've got 380 grams of carrots. Now, with the carrots, I washed and peeled it and then I grated it. So you basically need to get a grater that has got semi-fine section, and then you just grate that on. Now with carrot cake, you can be as simple or adventurous as you want. With previous recipes, you know, you can incorporate walnuts, pecans, raisins, sultanas, but I'm doing a pretty simple one today because of the cakes. And obviously I don't really like raisins, to be honest. So I'm just gonna dunk in my carrots. And we're gonna get that on high speed. Second batch. Now, if your batter gets too thick, I will tell you what you can incorporate to make it really nice and extremely flavorful. So, last batch is gone in. Now I've got something really interesting. I've got orange milk and I'll tell you how I made it. So basically I've got the juice of 2 oranges in here, and then what I did was incorporate some powdered milk, which basically the oranges acted as the water. So it's a very intense and rich kind of milk, which gives this sort of cake a really nice extra flavor, as you say. So I'm just going to use that to loosen the batter. So that would act obviously as our loosening agents. So I'm going to mix that in. Right, so that has been thoroughly mixed in. I'm just going to make sure I get all I can. Okay. Now look how gorgeous the batter is. Nice, and you can see your flecks and specks of carrots. So I've got 2 9-inch here, which are floured and buttered, and then I've put a bit of grease-proof paper as well. So I'm just going to put that in here. Again, we'll have a bit of batter remaining, which I'm going to dunk in my cupcake tray. So I'm going to do that, and then we'll see you before it goes in the oven. Okay, so batter is in the pan, and we're going to bake this at 200 degrees for about 20 to 25 minutes. So once you put a knife through it and it comes out clean, then you know your cake is ready to eat, basically. So in this goes. Right, so our cakes are ready. As you can see, it's still quite hot, so I'm just going to leave them to cool properly in the pan. But again, once you put a knife through it and it comes out clean, then your cake is ready to go and ready to eat. So I'm just going to leave these to cool. We're going to be icing one of the cakes, just one of them, but obviously you can see that the cakes are nice and ready. So this is going to go into the fridge to cool down, and then we'll get it iced. Okay, cake is nice and cool, so we're just going to do a very quick demo or putting the icing on it. Okay, so I like to start with going a bit heavy on the top, and then you just smooth that through. Okay, it will spread to the sides. Okay, and I'll just do a really quick. So just make sure you're quite light on your fingers, and not go too heavily, especially on the sides. What I do is just leave it in one place and then swivel the stand. Right, so what I'm going to do is, this is just the basic first layer. So I'm going to put this in the freezer just to set a little for a few minutes, and then we can put another layer on. Okay, so we're just going to put a thin layer just to smoothen the top and the sides a little bit. Okay, this is a really rough one, but it gives you an idea on how to, on what icing will complement your carrot cake. Normally a lot of folks go for cream cheese, but that can be a bit dicey to get here, so this very basic buttercream with an orange twist would really set off the flavor. Okay, and then you can pipe back this, put a bit more designs, you can pop some strawberries on, anything really. This is just a foundation for you to get rolling. So I hope you enjoyed this today, and we're just going to have put this back in the fridge, and we're going to have our tasting segment. So see you soon. Right, okay, so this is from the batter we made earlier, and you know I had a little bit left, so let's have a look and see how it looks. Wow, you can see that it's nice and moist, and you can see flecks of your carrots in there. So let's have a taste. As they say, it's all in the tasting. This is so good. Right, so I've put some of the icing, and I'm just going to have a quick taste. That is so good, seriously. Not because I made it myself, but you can taste the sweetness of the carrot, the cinnamon, nutmeg, everything is just coming through. It's so flavorful, and the icing, just the orange juice, just gives it a slightly different taste from your regular buttercream icing. It's really good, trust me. And it's so easy for you to reenact and recreate. So make sure you try this recipe and let me know how you get on. I'm just going to tuck in with this evening.